Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Taste of Home. In today's video, I'll be sharing my weight loss journey where I lost 25 kgs and never gained it back. In fact, I'm actually still losing more weight and I've managed to maintain and keep that weight very constant for a very long period of time, and I can say it's almost like over 2 years now, and I'm still managing to maintain and lose, if I want to lose more weight. So yeah, I thought I should share this video. And I mean, you might be wondering, like, today, why this type of content? I mean, our channel, we usually showcase homesteading things, where we are hands-on with our homesteading lifestyle, be it in our garden, be it in the backyard. Well, today I decided to share this journey because partly, the decision to get into this homesteading lifestyle was to support a healthier life, meaning that it was partly supporting my weight loss journey. And besides that, we also felt like sharing out this information. There could be somebody out there who's also on this journey, and they're also going through ups and downs, and this information might inspire them if they're also on this journey. Let me tell you how I manage to lose this weight and how I'm managing to keep this weight. A lot of people manage to lose the weight, but all of a sudden it pops up, it comes back, and then you're frustrated again, and then you start all over, or sometimes you even leave the whole journey and decide just to go on with your life without trying any further. Just to give you a bit of context, I thought I should also share how I all of a sudden started gaining the weight. A lot of us, we gain weight without even noticing, and mostly for me, it was during the COVID period when we were staying at home and we were not going out there. I think that is where I gained a lot of weight, and it was very hard to lose afterwards. Sometimes you won't even notice until when you're trying to buy a new dress. For example, myself, I realized that I used to be somebody who would wear a medium size, and then all of a sudden I would find myself not fitting even into a large size. I'll end up buying extra large. And I mean, just to add more, I think the turning point for me was when I could fit perfectly in a size XXXL. So it was something that was so shocking to me, hard to believe. I was so in denial, I couldn't believe it. And yeah, I think that was the turning point. And besides that, during our photo shoots with my family, standing beside my husband, I was so big, I was so huge. It almost felt like I was his mom, right? And I know no woman wants to see herself like a mom to your husband, if I can put it that way. So I guess that was a big turning point. And besides, wherever you would go, you'd find people commenting, giving you nasty comments, like, oh, you're so big. And then maybe just to add on, health-wise, I was running out of breath. I could barely do anything. I was inactive. It was hard, just to do basic tasks, just to even walk around, to go to the shops. I would be so tired. I would run out of breath. I would feel lightheaded. It was now turning a big toll on my health, and it was something that I realized, okay, now I really need to make this change. If I don't, well, it's not gonna go well. So after realizing all this gain weight and everything around it, that's when I started trying losing weight. I tried everything popular, anything that I would see on the internet. So many influencers were out there. They would showcase how they easily lost weight, and everything that I could relate or that I could feel that I could try, I was on board and I was quick to try. One of the things that I did try was the Banting diet. It's a very popular South African weight loss diet. It was very popular maybe some 3 years back. There were so many groups about it. Everybody was doing it, especially if you're somebody active on the social media, you might have come along. If you don't know what Banting diet is, it's basically a low carb diet where you are eating anything except for carbs, except for sugars. Anything that's got sugars, that's got carbohydrates. So it was a very restrictive diet, and I did try, and it did work and I was on board. I started on that journey. It was exciting. We had so many groups where you could share your journey, what you're cooking, what you're trying. After a month, I did lose a lot of weight. I think I lost almost like 10 kgs, which was very impressive, and I felt good about myself. Each time I'd walk around to my friends, to families, they would all pass a comment to say, wow, you look good. I could fit into my old clothes. I felt good actually. I was now a much better person until I couldn't manage the lifestyle. So something about Banting diet is that you have to change your whole lifestyle, and it was something at that point I wasn't ready. I would find myself craving for chocolate. I would find myself craving maybe for things that we used to eat like chips, you know. Sometimes you'd even want like a slice of bread, you know, and socially it wasn't working for me. Imagine having to visit your friends or family and they offer you food and you have to refuse it, or sometimes you accidentally eat it. So it was something definitely that was not working. And personally, I'm a person who's very social. I love visiting family and friends. I love going out, and sometimes it was hard to find places where they would serve food that adheres to the Banting diet. So Banting doesn't only mean that you're taking out carbohydrates and sugars. It means that even how you prepare your food, you have to prepare it in certain ways with certain oils. You don't just prepare it, you don't just use every kind of condiments. It was something that wasn't working for me, and I decided to stop Banting. And when I stopped, sadly, I gained all the weight plus, you know, an extra weight on top of that. I gained it was almost like 12 kgs. I don't know, it was bad. I gained it all. I was back to square one. So now I had to re-strategize and look for something that would work better for me. I decided to do intermittent fasting. Some of these diets, they work well temporarily, but sometimes you need to do an overhaul of your whole lifestyle. And you know, being an African girl, we have certain ways that we were raised, how we prepare our foods, what we eat, and some of these foods you can't just eliminate them. You can't just say all of a sudden, I'm never gonna eat pap. It's something that raised us. It's something that we grew on, and it's hard to just make that switch. So the intermittent fasting was quite flexible. It was doable. As somebody who grew up in a church where we used to do fasting, it was just a solution sent from heaven. It was not gonna be difficult for me. I was just gonna pretend that I was fasting like in the old days in church. I chose the 16-hour fasting. So this means that I would only eat for 8 hours of the day. The first weeks, it worked. It worked like wonders. I was loving it. And I even lost weight, almost 8 kg or something. It was good. It was working well until the weight didn't go down anymore. My weight just came on a flat line like this. So I was losing, and then the graph was just straight. I wasn't losing anymore. I was stuck on a certain weight. And that's where the problem started. You know, I even tried to push the fast. Instead of 8 hours of feed, I even put in lesser hours of feed. Like instead of 8 hours, I would put in like maybe 4 hours just so that I can lose more weight. But it didn't work. I wasn't losing at all. That's when I realized, I've hit a wall. And besides that, during my intermittent fasting journey, I actually did a video about it where I was vlogging about my journey and how much I was losing, and people were supportive. And except for one person who actually commented one thing that really didn't make sense when I read the comment, you know, I just felt like, oh, it's just one of those mean comments. But they did actually mention that, no, you need to watch out on how much food you're consuming other than concentrating on your fasting period. At that time, I felt like it was hurtful. They were not supportive until I reached at that stage where I wasn't losing anymore. It kind of now made sense. I went back to the drawing board. I had to look for another solution. Now I'm gonna talk about my final solution, how I managed to lose the weight and how I managed to keep it away. The solution that actually worked for me after trying all these diets that I found on the internet, it was the calorie deficit. with the calorie deficit, I eat everything basically. And socially, I'm not that person who's gonna be like,
no, don't put carbs for me or fizzy drinks for me because it's gonna make me gain weight.
no, I eat everything. As somebody who loves to eat, I eat everything and I'm happier, no frustrations. In summary, it just means that you have to mind what you eat. You have to know the amount of food that you eat, how much energy it gives you compared to the amount of energy that your body needs. So you have to know how much your body needs per day, and also it helps you to kind of budget your calorie intake for the day. So that was the solution that actually worked for me. I'm happier, I feel free when I'm eating with my family, my friends. I don't have to shy away or dismiss people when they're giving me food. There's so many things that you need to consider if you want to try calorie deficit. I understand you might have heard about calorie deficit from so many people, and there's so many other people who might have explained this, but I thought I should share my personal journey and how it worked. And if you're interested to know more about how I managed to do this, about the whole journey, so that it inspires you also to get on this journey, I have a book that I published about how to take on the calorie deficit, and this book relates to, especially on the food part, on our on African foods. If you are interested on starting on your journey, this is a nice copy that you might want to grab. In this book, I have laid out all the tricks that you need, how you can get started. I've also included the tools that I used and also the tools that you might need for your calorie deficit to work. And the last thing that I also added in the book was my personal meal log, actually, of what I ate in 30 calendar days, where I was taking note of each and every food that I ate. And this information might actually help you to kickstart your journey. So please feel free to check the book in the link in the description below. It's on Amazon KDP or Amazon Kindle. It's actually $4 or $3, and it might actually help you in your journey. In case you missed the book on Amazon Kindle, feel free to join our membership, where I'll be sharing detailed information on how you can actually start on your journey, on how I did it, and also how I managed to go about the journey, and the tricks that I used and the tools that I used. So you'll find it all. If you're on this journey, please let me know how it's going. Just remember, the whole journey of losing weight is all about changing your mindset on how you view food and changing your whole lifestyle, and actually having a good relationship with your food, and also understanding how your food works for your body. So that's one thing that I love about calorie deficit. You will get to understand about each and every food that you take in your body and how it's going to work in your body, or how it is going to benefit your body in total. So that's one thing that I can say. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.